Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life, that there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me.
Welcome back to Mantra College. Hope you're all doing well. At least in Melbourne now the restrictions are going down, so maybe it's a good sign. Maybe summer will be open. So anyway, wherever you are, hope you're safe and well. And more importantly, I hope that you're staying mentally healthy, because many people are struggling right now, staying at home, alone.
I love to be alone. I am like the best at it. I just love when you're sitting there in a room and you're just there with your thoughts and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm alone. Would anyone ever love me or whatever? And like, do I know anyone who would care if I just ever came out of this room or not or whatever? And like, I don't know, it's just peaceful. I just like it.
And this anxiety and depression can really get to you. So as a psychologist, I can tell you it's not a nice feeling, and you know it better than me. But you know, try to keep connected with your friends and families, whatever means you have. And yeah, just try to read the spiritual literature that is available to us. Definitely this book can tell you how to be happy regardless of what your circumstances are, regardless of what's the financial situation you're in, regardless of the pandemic and other natural disasters. So let's begin. Last time Harinamananda Das, he spoke about text 32 to 35, where Arjuna doesn't want to fight because how he is going to enjoy the kingdom after he had to kill his relatives. It's not going to be right. It's not going to feel right.
It's really unfair. It's really unfair.
Let's see what else Arjuna is proposing to Krishna, and whether it's a good idea or not. Text 36. Papame vashaye dasman hatvaitan atatayina tasman arhavayam hantum dartarashtran sabandavan svajanam hi katham hatva sakinas yamamadava. Now you may ask, why we are always reading this language that no one understands? Well, Sanskrit language is considered to be the original language of the Vedas, and especially this part of the Vedas, which is called Bhagavad Gita, the Song of God, is spoken by God Himself. That's what makes this scripture is very valuable to all different religions and all different cultures around the world. Because in different religions, we hear about God, we hear different saints and sages speak about God, which is very nice. And we hear from messengers of God, which is, you know, they carry out the same message as God. But this book, it's straightforward because here God Himself, He instructs us on what to do. Now, we can say many things have been changed in different literatures. And again, that's another advantage of this book, is that it's written in Sanskrit, and to change Sanskrit you have to be a really learned scholar. So therefore there are so many translations of Bhagavad Gita, so many interpretations. So people who interpreted this Bhagavad Gita, they've been studying this book since very young age. At school, they've been studying Sanskrit since very young age, so they are competent in their knowledge. But the problem is they didn't have the qualified teachers to teach them the true meaning of that book. Because that meaning, because these words are straightforward words. Whatever Krishna says is the truth here. Because Krishna, God, He is the absolute truth.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
So another advantage of reciting these Sanskrit verses is when you hear Sanskrit, because it's been spoken by God in its original language, then your consciousness gets purified. Even though you don't understand what it means, it still gets purified. For example, if you may be aware, there are different mantras that people recite these days to get that inner peace, inner happiness. So you may not understand what's the meaning of that mantra. Sometimes you can see these Hare Krishna people walking on the street, singing and dancing, and singing this Hare Krishna song, which like nobody understands what it means. And but regardless of that, you see people are very, very happy when they hear this Hare Krishna song. And when we ask other people to chant this mantra, they also become happy. And I 100% guarantee you, this doesn't work with any other mantra. This is the only mantra that works. I have a friend who was a hippie back in the day. So he read Bhagavad Gita. He didn't know anybody, any Hare Krishnas. He didn't know such a movement existed. But maybe it was like 30 years ago or 20 years ago. So he was a hippie in Czech, and he had a few friends, and as hippies they used to go in the forest and do all sorts of sex, drugs, rock and roll. And they've been smoking weed, and everyone had dreadlocks, so it was fun for them. They wouldn't sleep at night, they would enjoy intimate relationships. So many things they did in that forest, and they would go away to the forest for like a week or so. And they used to play jambis and drums and chant different mantras, whatever was on their mind.
The epidemic, I have canceled my vacation to the Bahamas. I shall not leave the city. Hey, you, get that steel drum out of the mayor's office. Sorry.
So because my friend, he read this book, Bhagavad Gita, he knew there was Hare Krishna mantra, so he started to chant it, just something for change. And in 15 minutes, all the hippies assembled around him, and they continuously chanted this mantra for 3 days, non-stop. Obviously, whoever wanted to sleep, they would go sleep. Whoever was like smoking weed, obviously people took breaks, but that mantra didn't stop the chanting for 3 days. So whoever was there, they would continue chanting this mantra, and there was full ecstasy. After these 3 days, my friend told me, he was fully convinced that this is the most powerful mantra, because they chanted different mantras during many years, and this mantra was the most attractive, and it evoked that inner happiness, inner peace. So it's practical experience of many other people, of sages over 5,000 years, regardless in which stage and in which civilization we live in, because this is all external circumstances, all these technologies in the internet that we have. Yes, it's new age, but to become happy, these factors are irrelevant because they're all material. That real inner happiness can only be obtained through spiritual means, not material means, because we are the spirit soul. And you will see how Krishna expands on that knowledge as we go further along this book. So, text 36. I read the Sanskrit. Hopefully now your consciousness is purified, you can understand what's happening. Arjuna is saying, sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it's not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of the goddess of fortune? And how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? So not only relatives were on the other side of Arjuna, but also his friends. So he says, although they are aggressors, they took away our kingdom, they cheated us many times, they tried to embarrass my wife in front of everybody. Still, although they did all these bad things, what satisfaction will I gain if I kill them? If somebody kills your relatives and then you kill that person, you might gain some sort of satisfaction, but nothing really changes, right? You can't bring your relatives back. So that's what Arjuna is saying. What's the use if they did these bad things to us? How are we gonna be good people if we do the bad things to them? So Arjuna is very, very compassionate man, and that's what we are lacking in today's world, that people are they may be very compassionate to their dogs and pets, and at the same time they're having dinner and eating meat, meat is not food that has been grown in the field. Meat is another animal, just like a dog next to you, just like a cat next to you. That is where the meat comes from. Then someone would say, no, I really love animals, I really love pets, and then you tell him, yeah, but then would you eat your own dog? Like, why do you still eat meat? It's unnecessary. This killing is unnecessary. There are thousands, millions, hundreds of millions of people who are vegetarians, who are vegan these days. They don't eat meat, and then I know many, many people who never ate meat in their life. Very healthy, very, I may be skinny, but I've been skinny all my life. It's just my, constitution. The good thing about being skinny, you can eat as much as you want and you won't get fat. And you'll be still fit. So, but I know, well-built bodybuilders. I know very strong people who have been vegetarian all their life, never ate meat. Arjuna is a very compassionate person, and our compassion, we can also be very compassionate. We should take example from Arjuna, and we should firstly start by showing compassion not only to other people, but also to animals, because they're also living creatures. So this is purported by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So he says, according to Vedic injunctions, there are 6 kinds of aggressors. Vedas are very specific. It's like maths, 1 + 1 = 2. They tell you exactly what's happening. So Vedic injunctions say there are 6 kinds of aggressors. Number 1, a poison giver. Number 2, one who sets a fire to the house. Number 3, one who attacks with deadly weapons. Number 4, one who plunders riches. Number 5, one who occupies another's land. And 6, one who kidnaps a wife. Such aggressors are at once to be killed, and no sin incurred by killing such aggressors. Ooh. This is Vedic injunction. It says if the person gave you a poison, or set your house on fire, or attacked you with a weapon, or stole your riches, or occupied your land, or kidnapped your wife, you can immediately kill that person, no sin will be incurred. Now, obviously, in today's society, in modern countries, you can't do that. Even in third world countries, you can't do that. You can't just go and kill the aggressor. Obviously, if he's shooting you, and then you somehow had a gun on you, and then you could use it in self-protection and kill the person, okay, you can get away with it. But if, someone came to rape your wife and then you kill that person, there's so many problems in the court that it's like, you may go to jail. But in Vedas, if we're talking about the ultimate universal laws, the laws of karma, no sin will be incurred on you if you kill such a person. But again, that's not encouraging killing. Just see what Prabhupada says after. Such killing of aggressors is quite befitting any ordinary man, but Arjuna was not an ordinary person. He was saintly by character, and therefore he wanted to deal with them in saintliness. This kind of saintliness, however, is not for a kshatriya. Although a responsible man in the administration of a state is required to be saintly, he should not be cowardly. For example, Lord Rama was so saintly that people even now are anxious to live in the kingdom of Lord Rama, Rama Rajya. But Lord Rama never showed any cowardice. Ravana was an aggressor against Rama because Ravana kidnapped Rama's wife, Sita. But Lord Rama gave him sufficient lessons, unparalleled in the history of the world. In Arjuna's case, however, one should consider the special type of aggressors, namely his own grandfather, own teacher, friends, sons, grandsons, etc. Because of them, Arjuna thought that he should not take the severe steps necessary against ordinary aggressors. Besides that, saintly persons are advised to forgive. Very important. This is what Arjuna did. Regardless, he was like, okay, I'm a warrior, I'm a kshatriya. It's my duty to fight, and even if I kill that person, not only I won't incur any sin on myself, not only I won't get any bad karma, I will get good karma, because they're aggressors, they're destroying the society, and then if I kill them, because I'm a warrior, it's my duty, I protect the citizens of my state, and therefore, I get good karma according to Vedas. But he gave up that attachment also, he was like, although I'm a warrior, it's my duty, I just can't kill them. I'm ready to forgive these people. I'm ready to forgive people who wanted to kill me, the same people who cheated me and took away the kingdom from me, the same people that tried to undress my wife and rape her, same people, and I'm ready to forgive them. That's how compassionate Arjuna was. That's how soft-hearted, pure-hearted he was. So therefore, saintly persons, they must forgive. Such injunctions for saintly persons are more important than any political emergency. Arjuna considered that rather than kill his own kinsmen for political reasons, it would be better to forgive them on grounds of religion and saintly behavior. He did not therefore consider such killing profitable simply for the matter of temporary bodily happiness. After all, kingdoms and the pleasures derived therefrom are not permanent, so why should he risk his life and eternal salvation by killing his own kinsmen? Arjuna's addressing of Krishna as Madhava, or the husband of the goddess of fortune, is also significant in this connection. He wanted to point out to Krishna that as the husband of the goddess of fortune, he should not induce Arjuna to take up a matter which would ultimately bring about misfortune. Krishna, however, never brings misfortune to anyone, to say nothing of his devotees. So see here, Arjuna is addressing Krishna as Madhava, and that's why I'm saying the Sanskrit language is too complicated to, fake it or change the meaning of it. Here Arjuna specifically mentions or addresses Krishna or Madhava, or the husband of the goddess of fortune, right? Because Krishna is God, his wife is goddess of fortune. Whatever good luck comes in your life is because of God, so because of his wife. And so he's saying, look, you're the husband of the goddess of fortune, and why are you trying to make me fight and kill these people? I'm trying to be a saintly person, and you're trying to induce me into fight. And if you kill them, killing means misfortune for me and for everybody else and for all the other people. But Prabhupada states here it's just a sentiment that Arjuna is expressing because he shows some weakness of heart. So actually, Krishna cannot bring any misfortune, especially to his devotees, because you will see later on Krishna will tell him why it's going to be good for him to fight, why it's going to be for everybody else good. This war is going to be good for everybody else. So it's just a lot of nice things will come up in the next few chapters, and then you will see we can go deeper and deeper in this spiritual yoga text. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please give us a like, subscribe to my channel Mantra College, and leave any questions in the comments below. Hopefully we can answer them. Hare Krishna, and I'll see you soon.